All right, I'm David Hirsch, and this is Aaron Barman, and we're incredibly excited to be here today to officially unveil portfolio football to the industry. So football is the most popular sport in the country. Actually, 60% of the population identify as football fans. That's 180 million people. What this tells us is that football's rules and concepts are widely known and understood by the general population. So we all know we have a problem in the United States with financial literacy. We also have a problem that the majority of people are not prepared for retirement. Our mission, our goal at Portfolio Football is to transform financial planning and portfolio management through sports-related gamification. And our patent-pending technology allows you to leverage your knowledge of football to make better financial decisions. So today we're going to cover two different applications, two different components of our applications, the beta version of personal finance and portfolio management. So let's get started. All right, so we're now in the personal finance component, which translates a user's current financial information into the scoreboard of a football game. By relating their situation to the scoreboard, we effectively translate financial concepts and planning into a language that the average person can understand. The scoreboard's fairly simple. The game starts when you enter the workforce and ends when you expect to retire. Every element of the scoreboard has significance. For example, the home score is the number of years that you're on track to be able to afford post-retirement, and the away score is the number of years you need to plan for. So, as you can see, this particular individual is winning. So what that means is that they're effectively on pace to be able to retire on time and maintain their current lifestyle. Now, once you finish the process, you get access to a comprehensive personal financial report that'll give you a breakdown of your personal financial situation, translation of the scoreboard, and sensitivity analysis to help you better formulate a winning game plan for retirement. Now let's go to portfolio management. Now, looking at the audience, I'm pretty confident, it's a safe bet that we've got quite a few people here that play fantasy football. Now, fantasy football is hugely popular. There are 20 million people that play fantasy football in the U.S. each year. 30 million people play fantasy sports in general. Now, the average fantasy participant is not a kid. It's actually a 36-year-old male with a bachelor's degree and an annual income between $60,000 and $100,000 a year. If you play fantasy football, you're going to love our portfolio management application because our user interface mimics those commonly found in fantasy football. Now, a little bit about the theory behind it. In portfolio football, your portfolio is your team and the individual assets are your players. Just like in football, you'll have 11 players on your team and you'll recruit your players one at a time. To show you how simple it is, we're going to recruit the last 11th player into this portfolio. So we start by selecting the asset type. We can go with mutual fund, stock, or ETF. We're going to go with mutual fund. Then we have a preliminary screen where we can choose between no load, load, and all. We'll go with no load. And then we need to choose the asset category. And as you can see, we have a number of categories to choose from. But because our objective with this portfolio is growth, we're going to go with growth aggressive. So now we're ready to draft our player. To do this, we hit the draft button, and the asset sorting table appears, and this gives us every mutual fund that is no load in the growth aggressive category. Now we can sort these assets by clicking on the column header, and if we want to take a deeper dive into a particular asset, we simply click on the asset symbol, and a profile page appears. Now, if we like what we see, and we want to put this asset into our portfolio, it's really easy. We simply hit the back button and then the recruit button, and the particular asset is then ported into the portfolio. The only thing left to do now is to save the portfolio, and then we can begin the process of looking at how the portfolio has performed and its metrics. To do this, we go to Analyze Team, and we have access to a number of reports, including an allocation summary that tells us the exact number of units or shares to purchase for each position. We have a performance summary, and we have performance graphs that show us the 5-year performance not only of the individual assets, but the portfolio as a whole, coupled with several indexes. We also give you advanced metrics, where you can see your portfolio's standard deviation, beta, alpha, and Sharpe ratio. And then lastly, we give you a risk-reward graph that shows you the risk-reward of the individual assets and the portfolio as a whole, again, measured against a variety of indexes. Now, we've shown you the first two components of portfolio football, the beta versions of personal finance and portfolio management, but this is just the beginning. In the coming weeks and months, we plan on unveiling a number of new products and services, including apps for mobile devices and tablets, and our fantasy portfolio football platform. Now, we view portfolio football as an entry point or gateway, and we're looking for strategic partners that can help us. So if your company has a product or service that you feel would benefit our users, please stop by our booth. We'd love to talk to you. We're also rolling out a service called Find a Coach that will pair pre-qualified users with outside third-party financial advisors. And we're looking for a national firm to help us establish this service. Lastly, if you're an investor and you like what you've seen, please stop by our booth. We'd love to talk to you. We're planning on doing a round of financing here in the near term. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.